maybe.
You're live.
All right. Hey, everybody. Hopefully you guys can see us and hear us okay. You'll have to let us know if there's any sound issues. Actually, no, I think I need to turn the volume off on that laptop too. There we go. Should be able to say mute. There we go. That's a little better. Hi again. Just hit that little. There you go. Nope.
I had it already.
Oh, there you go. Hopefully we don't have any serious technical difficulties this time. But hey, everyone. It is the beginning of November here in 2021. And for those of you guys who are watching us here on YouTube, we also have this that will be an edited version on our website. And it is the Desert Farmer Podcast. You guys can find that feed there for now. As it stands today, we don't have that anywhere else because we're still trying to figure out kind of how we want to do that format. But for today, you guys are here with us on YouTube. So we've had a busy week. Audio, video, good? All right, sweet.
Yeah.
Thanks, Slamboy. So yeah, we've had a busy week. We got chickens done last weekend. We had 22 people here with us. Mm-hmm. So we had 22 people that came to our workshop where we showed everybody exactly how we go through the process of processing a chicken. So from talking about the pasture, bringing them over, and then walking them through it step by step. And then everybody got a chance to go home with a chicken or two in a couple cases. And we had a little bit of extra time left over with some of the stragglers, which was kind of nice.
Yeah, so we got to do a little bit of wine tasting.
Yeah, so that was good. We got a chance to spend some time with you guys that were here. Really appreciate that. And then it is a little bit of a downtime for us here for the next few weeks, right?
Well,
kind
sure.
of. You say no.
I know.
I only see it on the weekends in the evening, so
Yeah.
Not quite as hectic as it was. So, any questions yet?
No, just a bunch of people. Got Alan, we got Slamboy, William, Juan, hello, Daryl, hello, everyone.
How's it going, guys?
Got David, we got Kathleen, Slamboy.
Massachusetts?
Yep.
Sweet.
That's MA.
Yep.
Slamboy, have you priced a ham turkey?
You mean from the grocery store, I'm assuming. No, I haven't. We don't. In fact, we have a leftover chicken from our last round of processing that was just under 9 pounds finished weight. So we're actually going to do that for our turkey dinner. It's just Lori and I for Thanksgiving dinner these days. So it'll just be a really big chicken.
Yeah, we're going to smoke it. So
Yes.
see how that turns out.
Haven't priced them though. I'm almost afraid to go. It's one of the many reasons we raise our own livestock here and have meat in the freezer so we don't have to do that. In fact, when's the last time we bought meat from the grocery store?
I did actually buy bacon because we haven't actually cured and smoked our bacon yet.
Oh, that's right, because we need to cold smoke that.
But other than that, it's been a while. Okay, so we have David, later my apple tree is hungry. Juan, Lori took down the east fence. Is that part open now?
Wait.
So I took down the fence that went across.
Oh, that's the southern fence.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, it was halfway between our property. So I took that down to open up that, but the east pig acre is not taken down yet.
Right, yeah, no. That's still, we have to finish the fencing. Nate and Tara had to move, and so they had to kind of scramble for several weeks to get moved. It was short notice for them. They were renting a house down the road, and now they're renting a house down the road a little bit further. So we saw them last weekend. They helped us with the chicken processing workshop. We didn't talk about it much there, but hopefully, if not by the end of this year, the beginning of next year, we'll come back and finish up that fencing, and we'll be able to open up that acre because we need it. I want to start using it.
Yeah. All right, we got Aaron from Surprise.
Hey,
folks.
How's it going, Aaron?
Daryl, when are you processing the turkeys?
So I'm not too sure yet. So we are kind of keeping an eye on them as far as size is concerned. So these chickens are turkeys are supposed to go up to 6 months, right? 5 to 6 months.
No, 6 to 8 months because of their heritage breed.
So yeah, heritage breed turkeys typically take, I guess I was going on the low with 6.
Yeah.
And I think we're 4 months in.
Yes.
Right now. So we're still going to hang on to them for a couple more months, and we're going to keep most of them actually. So
yeah, we might keep up to 6 of them. So then we'll process probably January, February, possibly 4 of them.
That'll give us a good idea as far as cost, because we need to get that down. We had a lot of folks that wanted to reserve turkeys for next year, so we just need to get an idea of what the cost is going to look like. I don't know whether or not we'll do heritage breed turkeys for that. We'll have to see. I'd like to, just because, it's going to taste different, and that's the whole idea. And they're just healthier birds from what I understand. So kind of like they got the Cornish cross version in turkeys, with the double-breasted whites and double-breasted bronze. So those take less time and they get bigger. So we'll have to kind of see how that works out next year.
Yeah. All right, we have Dr. Borden. Hello, Arizona friends. Slam boy, don't
Howdy.
smoke it. Or don't smoke it, eat it, LOL.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the plan.
All right, got Kylan here.
Hey, what's up, Kylan? How you doing, man?
That's everybody that's here so far.
That was easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could definitely tell. It's interesting for us because, there's a little bit of this lull. We've noticed that with YouTube as well. So everybody, I think, has that holiday mindset already. I know we kind of do as well. So we noticed that with some of the videos that we put up. But one of the great parts about that is we have more time to spend with you guys, and we can just talk about anything we want to.
Yeah.
Or whatever you guys want to talk about.
Yeah, we got Juan not going to eat a homegrown turkey.
Yeah, I know. We came on that late. So it was kind of so we had talked about doing turkeys, and then we kind of backed off of that a little bit, and then we lost our chickens. So we had the chickens that got killed back on, it was actually 4th of July weekend.
In July. Mm-hmm.
So right after that, I was just kind of jonesing for more animals on the farm because we didn't have the pigs on the farm at the time, and we were down to just a couple chickens. So we wanted to get the turkeys in and just test them to kind of see how they were going to do.
And we had ordered them thinking that they would only take, 4 or 5 months.
Right. We also didn't know we were going to be getting the heritage breed because that was all that was left. So that's kind of how that turned out. So yeah, I know. Timing wasn't very good on that. So yeah, we'll have turkey off season, I guess.
Yeah. Then we have Scottsdale Urban Farms. Will you keep any of your turkeys as pets?
Yes. So, and we already kind of have one of the toms picked out. Well, one of the toms picked Lori out.
Oh, man.
Yeah. So we have one tom. We call him Cuddle Tom, and he will literally just walk right up to you and basically just push his neck and his head right up against your chest or your arm, and basically just lay there. So.
He's pretty cool.
He's pretty cool. So,
but we are going to keep them. I mean, not necessarily as pets. We will try to breed them. Mm-hmm. Is what our plan is for the ones that we do keep. So
right. So we've never done that before. We want to do that with chickens. So we brought a couple roos in with our laying hens, and we have the toms. So I don't know whether we'll keep 1 or 2 toms. My thought is probably one. Well, definitely the Cuddle Tom, which is a Holland White. And we have blue slates, and there's a large blue slate tom as well that seems very docile also. So if they do okay together, we'll keep those 2, and then the 4 Jennies that we have. Yeah. So, and those are split evenly. So we have 2 white Hollands and 2 blue slates. So yeah, we'll see if we can breed them.
All right, Daryl, looks like the weather in Whitman is awesome right now.
Yes, it's about as good as it gets. It was mid 50s, maybe low 50s this morning, so it was a little chilly for us here in Arizona this morning. And then I think today we're going to hit about 86, 87. And actually, we tried to set up outside for you guys today.
We did.
And the problem is the microphone. And we know how important sound is, and we don't have a windsock for the microphone. Otherwise, we were able to set it up out there. So weather permitting, maybe over the next few months we'll be able to get a good shot of the pasture and be outside.
That'll be nice.
That would be really
nice. It was nice out there.
Yeah.
Okay, where are we? Hometown Cuddle Tom, LOL.
Yep, Cuddle Tom.
Yep, Scottsdale Urban Farms. I saw that in one of your videos.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. There was Lori got a shot of him basically laying on her shoulder. And what was funny, she put it up on Instagram. what was funny, if you look at that picture, that turkey actually has the string from her sweatshirt. They like to pull those out, and had it in his mouth. So
sitting there.
He was sitting there hiding that basically from everybody else. So
Oh, that's cute.
they did that this morning too. And then I had one of the Jennies that he took one string, and then we had one of the Jennies took the other string. She had actually swallowed it down. So it was down in her crop. It was kind of gross. I pull it out, and like the bottom 2 inches, we had just given him the scraps from juicing. So there's carrots and stuff like that, shreds. And there was like this orange carrot shred all over it. It was gross.
Okay.
And she's looking at me like, yeah, whatever.
That's funny. Juan, how are the baby chicks doing?
Yeah,
They're doing really good.
They are doing good. You want to tell them about, was it yesterday or the day before?
Well, yeah, we actually did an update for the vlog for tomorrow. And I have been spending the last several weeks, they've been very scared, skittish. Every time we go over there, they kind of pile on top of each other in the corner just to get away from us. But I've been trying to spend time with them. I've got them eating cantaloupe out of my hand now, and so they're doing better. So they're 4 weeks old now. They've got their roost bar in the brooder as well, so they're liking that also.
Yeah, they're acting like chickens.
Yeah.
And then today I was able to, they're actually starting to jump up on the ledge and pecking at my finger. So, and it's always the barred rocks. I was saying, I don't think I got it into the vlog today, but the barred rocks in the last round were the friendliest. Also the dominant birds. And it looks like the exact same thing's happening with these. And barred rocks are fantastic, especially as a homesteading dual purpose bird, because they're a little bit they're bigger. They're very friendly. We didn't have any broody issues with any of them last time. None of them went broody. Mm-mm. They lay consistently as well. So yeah, it's just a really good all around dual purpose homestead bird. And they're cool looking.
Yeah.
And we did get a roux in a barred rock roux.
Yeah.
So see if we can keep that.
All right, so we have Kylan. You should charge $5 a cuddle with Tom.
That's not a bad idea.
He is so sweet. Oh my goodness.
He's cool, man.
Yeah, Scottsdale cuddle time with Tom.
Yeah,
Raina,
no doubt.
We have hello. You guys are looking great
hey,
as
Raina.
usual. Nice to see you too.
Thank you.
Scottsdale Urban Farms. Ooh, I'm thinking swallowing the.
I know.
Yeah, it was pretty gross.
It was nasty, and I didn't realize it till it was down. It was down there for probably a good minute or two. So who knows what she was. She was just sitting there looking at me.
Hiding it.
She was hiding it. Little turkeys.
All right, you got Slam
Literally.
Boy. What are your margins? Chickens versus turkey versus pigs.
Okay, so that's a really good question. So basically, for us, is we look at it strictly as a business when it comes to that. Now, one of the things that we don't incorporate in there, and eventually will, is our time. So keep that in mind with these numbers. They do not include our time. With chickens in particular, that time is pretty extensive. Not only the processing time, but just daily time that you have to do to move the tractors. Very labor intensive. So all our chickens and our turkeys will be priced at what we consider full retail. And if you guys have worked in retail before, it's referred to as marquee, but 50% profit is what we're looking at there. So obviously that can vary a bit based on what it costs to raise them. The biggest variable there, of course, is loss. This time around, we only had one chick die. It was our best price per pound as far our cost per pound. And I think it was just under $10, and we priced it out accordingly. So our medium pasture chickens were $20, and those were basically 4 to 5 pounds. And then our 5 to 6 pound chickens, we had a fair amount of those as well, and those are 25. So what we shoot for is about 50% margin there. And then on the bulk program, so the pigs that we sell halves and wholes, those are right around 30% margin. So those are lower. And that's on purpose because obviously the idea is bulk. We want people to buy in bulk to get a discount. So it winds up being about a 30% margin for us. So we lose about 20% margin on those, but that's by design. And it helps keep everybody's costs down, ours included. And that tends to work out pretty good. Mm-hmm. Turkeys should be about the same as far as margin. So they're going to be expensive turkeys.
Well, yeah, right now, I mean, we've already got so much into these ones.
Yeah, I think right now we're sitting, I keep Excel spreadsheets on all this stuff. So I think we're sitting at just under $40 a turkey.
That we've already,
Yeah.
we're raising it
right.
and not our time.
Right. And they're about probably a little over halfway. And they're starting to eat more every day as they get bigger.
Yeah, they're pounding the food.
Yeah.
All right, we have Daryl. Lori, you look totally relaxed in front of the camera these days.
I know, she's all
Thank you. I'm trying to get better.
But you do. I'll tell you what. We had Garden of the Geeks over for the processing, one of our first subscribers. And so they know you from the very beginning. And I think one of the things that Paul said when he was here, he's like, okay, so yeah, you have totally changed from the beginning.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you. I still, when I actually do the vlog myself, I have a lot of takes, so.
Oh, that's okay. That's normal.
All right, hometown. Hello from the I-10 and 195th.
Ooh.
What is the best time of year to get chicks here in Arizona?
Okay, so I don't know whether you mean laying hen chicks or broiler chicks. So it is a little bit different, although we usually keep them at the same time. So we prefer to bring our laying hens in the fall. So we typically do that. Well, we did that at the beginning of October this time around, just because we were trying to shuffle all of the broilers and getting those in at the same time. So September to October is a good time to bring in your layers. They'll start laying for you in the spring. And we found that they generally lay year round anyway, but they do a very good job of pushing right in through the following winter before you see them molt. And then you get the following spring, if you're following it, you get the following spring that they molt, but it's very, very fast as opposed to the winter molt that can take a long time. So they lay all winter long, and it just seems to be a good time. Spring is fine as well. They do just fine in the spring. And then with the broiler chickens, fall by far the best time. This is the best we've ever done, but all of our fall batches have always been more successful. So, and also a lot less loss. So we've completely abandoned bringing broiler chicks in during the summer and during the winter. We won't do either one just because of the losses. So you can do it. You can work around it. It's just going to take a lot more time. And we just found that there is just a lot more potential for loss. And because it's a business for us, and either way, it's loss of life, we just prefer not to do it. So.
All right, Desert Blacksmith, howdy folks, taking a break from
Hey,
gardening.
Dan. I know, isn't it? It's beautiful. It's perfect time of year to do gardening. It's hard to come inside.
All right, Juan, food is so expensive in the store.
I'll tell you what, one of the things that I think we've talked about, different things that we want to talk about on the channel, would really like you guys to give some input on that as well as what you'd like to see us cover. But I think, as we all go into this time where I don't think we're going to have necessarily any shortages, but I think we'll have some scarcity off and on in key items because of a lot of different factors, a lot of that being logistics and distribution. But then, of course, cost. All those things affect cost and inflation. I can tell you, I'm a purchasing manager for a construction and industrial supply company. And I can tell you this, we have basically every single month, we have a dozen or two vendors that are increasing their prices. Anywhere from 6 to 8% up to 15 to 30% based on what the product is. So it just makes me really nervous.
I know. And even going into the grocery stores, I've noticed when because I go obviously there to buy other stuff that we need, but it's still like the shelves are empty, and it seems like everything I go in to try to get, they don't have, and I'm having to substitute with something else
Yeah.
it's still an issue.
It is. And I think that's it's one of the many reasons why we do what we're doing here, not only for ourselves, obviously for our customers. And then you guys know this for everybody out there. A lot of you guys that are here, you guys are regulars. We see you and talk to you guys all the time. And I know a lot of you guys do something similar to what we're doing here, or you're working towards that. And, today it's more critical than it ever has been, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
You look at just the cost alone, even if besides the quality of the food. So cost is one thing, and then quality suffers as well. I mean, think about it. All that food has to travel. And if you guys have dealt with logistics at all over the last 6 months, it's a nightmare. So what we're not seeing is the effect that it's having on the goods that you are buying. So even especially fresh goods, produce, meats as well, you start having delays in shipping with those things on a truck or sitting in a distribution center, that's just not good. Yeah. So, it's tough. So, and I mean, what better way to cut down on your bills, especially food, because it's always been our most expensive, shy of, your mortgage and things like that. It's the most expensive bill you have.
Yeah.
And so, if you can bring that down, better quality, better price, it's available to you immediately. You're not having to go to the store. I mean, look at the price of gas. I think I just paid $3.60 a gallon, $3.65 a gallon, something like that. So, I mean,
I had 40 cents off on my rewards for Fridays when I went to fill the truck up.
Go ahead and rub that in. Well, I guess either way, it's my money and your money. It's our money.
All right, we have Kathleen. I had a job years ago ringing turkeys. How is it done these days?
So we'll do those the same as, I'm assuming when you say ringing, you're talking about their neck. So we'll process those the same way we do chickens, and we actually have extra large cones that we use for our large broilers now, and they're designed for turkeys. So you put them in upside down, their head comes out of the bottom, and then just one cut across the jugular vein to let them bleed out, and it does a good job of removing the blood, and then they come out from there into the scalder and plucker.
Yep.
Or as some people say, scolder and plucker.
Stop it. Okay, so hometown laying hens. So they're the one asking about when to
Gotcha. Fall or
chickens
spring, either fall or spring is fine. Just don't bring them in during the wintertime. They'll struggle on you.
Well, they'll also have a hard time getting here if they're shipped in the mail.
That's the toughest thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We are Scottsdale Urban Farms. What kind of wine do you make, and with which grapes?
Okay, so we make, oh goodness gracious. So we make fruit wines. All the wines that we have are from the fruit that we've grown. So we have 3 different grape wines. We have Manuka, which is a red wine. We have Flame, which is a off-white wine. And we have Thompson, which is a white wine. So those are the 3 that we've made so far. We added Syrah, which did not fruit this year, but those are new in the ground. We have Zinfandel, which did fruit this year, is very good. That'll be a nice dark wine. Hopefully we'll start that next year. And we have a Cabernet, which is also a dark wine as well. So those 3 grapes will be hopefully next fall, because we did get some fruit on those vines this year, first year in the ground. And then we've done peach, fig, mulberry, blackberry, apple, pomegranate. So I'm probably missing something.
Probably.
Yeah, but we've done
plum.
several.
We did a plum. Mm-hmm. Ooh, that plum was really good too.
Plum was fantastic. The mulberry wine we need to finish. So those were actually off of this. First time we had a mulberry crop here, we were able to do, I think we're going to finish about 6 gallons of mulberry wine. In fact, we'll do that Thanksgiving weekend. We'll be bottling those. So.
All right, the Swafford Homestead, hello.
How's it going, guys?
Daryl, if you can share, what is your total investment in the orchard?
Oh, goodness. You know what? I don't know. I would have to look at that. I mean, those are all capital expenses, so I'd have them on our taxes, but I don't recall. It actually wasn't as high here.
You're wanting to know as far
The
as
orchard.
the trees, but like irrigation and all that, or just the trees?
If you talk about irrigation, that's a lot. And it also is not just for the trees. That'd be a tough one to break out. We only have that broken out as just a capital expense for irrigation, which includes all of the main lines that are not part of irrigation. So that'd be tough. You're talking about just the trees. I think our cost here was actually lower. And the reason why is because we contracted with Reed at RSI Growers, and he does contract pricing. We're buying 100 plus trees from him. So he did contract pricing for us, which was very good. That helped bring our costs down on the trees. But we've since filled in. We ordered some online as well. I'd have to pull it up. It's still several $1,000s when it's all said and done. It's a lot of trees.
Send us an email and we can get you the exact number.
Yeah.
Because we do have it written down.
Yep.
Well, and some of those trees we actually did cuttings from the old property. So
true. Yep. Very true.
All right, we have Kylan. Do you sell pork by the cut or will you? What are the legalities of selling meat like that?
Right. So that's a good question. So if you are going to sell individual cuts from either pork, beef, lamb, goat, what am I missing that West Valley does? I think that's it. So if you're going to be selling any of those as individual cuts, you have to take them to either an ADA processor, so Arizona Department of Agriculture, or the USDA processor down in Tucson. So the ADA processor that we use is West Valley Processing. That's who we take all of our pigs to. So they are done at an Arizona, an ADA certified facility. So any of the cuts from there we can sell as individuals if we wanted to. So we probably will. We have one extra pig that we brought on this year, and assuming everybody survives and we have no issues there, we may actually have that as individual cuts. And as long as, so to answer your question, as long as it's done at a state inspected facility, you can sell them within the state. If it's going to go across state lines, it has to be a USDA facility, and that is down in Tucson.
All right, Raina, what percentage of your groceries do you buy in the store?
Well, right now we don't have fruit, which we normally would have a stockpile of fruit. We do smoothies several days a week, so we're having to buy those. Today, we don't buy any meat from the grocery stores with the exception of bacon.
I bought bacon last time.
Because our bacon we get back fresh side, and I need to cold smoke that. So I need to wait until wintertime so I can do that. So we'll do that here in a few weeks. So we don't buy any meat. The only thing that we buy is fresh veggies, and then bread, things like that, milk for now until we get the goats on the farm. So I'd say it's probably, if we had to buy meat, I'd say it's probably about 50%, 40 to 50%.
Yeah, because there's sometimes, I go to the store every week, but there's sometimes my bill is only $40, or, there's sometimes, depending on what all I have to get, it's $70 or $100.
That's two of us. Yeah. And that does include alcohol from time to time, even though we got all the wine behind us. Yeah. So yeah, I'd say it's probably anywhere from 40 to 60%, just because we are meat eaters. It's a big portion of our food.
So you're saying that's what we don't buy from the store, or that's a percentage that we do?
That's the percentage that we have. So it's about 50-50, I'm thinking.
All right, Scottsdale Urban Farms, amen. Blacksmith, so Dan, how is your feed availability been? Our local feed store has been backstocked, and we can only get from Tractor Supply.
Right. So we've completely abandoned trying to find the feed that we prefer. We actually stopped doing that last year because it was already getting difficult to get. So we've gone just to Tractor Supply, just like you are. They're the only ones that are consistent. So I think for all of us, the reality of feed is you're talking about grains and things like that. We've been exporting grains. I don't want to get into political discussion here, but I don't understand why we're doing that when we can be storing grains, but neither here nor there. We've focused on Tractor Supply because they're a consistent source. We buy in large quantities when we get it. Like our pig feed, we get a full pallet at a time. So we're getting a ton of it at a time just to stay on top of that. Same thing with the chickens. So we've abandoned the other ones. I reached out last year. I reached out to the Bar Ale, which is the feed we prefer because their chicken feed is non-soy and they're all non-GMO, and they could not ship to me. They've stopped doing it. So we couldn't even get. It used to be you can get 3 tons at a time from them, and they would ship it to you. They stopped last year, so I'm sure aren't even trying at this point.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm right there with you, Dan. I don't think that's going to change until the macroeconomics change, especially around logistics. And if we could hopefully stop selling grain everywhere, because the reality is we need it, and it can be stored. There's a reason for that. So.
All right, we have Anna from Phoenix. When you have your pigs butchered or someone purchases a hog from you, are you able to select the cuts and divert the remainder of the meat to sausage, or is there a standard way they are butchered? Yeah,
so good question. And yes, the answer is yes. So we get a cut sheet from the processor, and it has, you choose all of your cuts. You choose, if you want to have, like, say, we don't get the hams back, we have those ground. So any of the scrap meat is ground. We prefer to grind the hams, but you don't have to. You could grind the entire pig. In fact, I think we have one customer, doctor, who, what does she do? She does a mixture of stuff, but she does it a lot. She still gets a lot of ground.
Yeah.
So
And we do all of our ground pork, where there's an option that you can do like breakfast sausage, chorizo, but we season our own. But yes, you do get a cut sheet that you can select for the most part what you want.
Yep. So, and everybody gets to fill those out, so they get exactly what they want back.
All right, we have Charles with Ivy Organic.
Hey, Charles, how's it going, man?
Hello, Dwayne and Lori. I just hatched my first 3 chicks in this week.
Oh, cool.
From a random source, mixed genetics. Do you have a breed that you would recommend for the urban setting? Quietest.
That's a tough one.
Chickens are not quiet.
Chickens are just not quiet, especially when they're laying. If they're not laying, they're pretty quiet. I don't know that I would be able to say which one is the quietest. I think probably, actually no, I take that back. I would say out of the breeds that we've had, the loudest was probably the Delawares. Those were pretty loud. The white leghorns were pretty quiet, pretty skittish, but they were fairly quiet. And the Americanas, actually, they're very, very docile. So I would say if you were going to probably attempt one at that, it would probably be one of those breeds. The Americana, I'll tell you what, they're kind of tentative, but they're just a very docile breed.
Yeah.
It's a very, very docile breed. Yeah. So,
right.
and not quite as good a layer. So if you're trying to get a good layer, that might be a little less vocal. Gosh, I guess white leghorn might be I'm trying to remember the white leghorns. We only had them once, and they weren't too boisterous. But the Delawares were loud.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we have one wine of all kinds. So good, yummy. Mm-hmm. Scottsdale Urban Farms. Do you sell the wine?
No, no. So we don't do. I don't even want to start to go down that road for getting licensing. You're dealing with the ATF, and I'll just pass. I'll leave it at that.
But come over and we'll do a wine tasting. How about that?
that we can legally do. So in fact, we had that. We did that last weekend with the crew that was here for the chicken processing workshop, and I think we're going to do that as an option for our workshops. So when people are here for the workshops, they can hang out and do some wine tasting. Plus, I'd rather do it that way anyway.
Yeah. All right, so Slam Boy, do your layers get supplements?
So the only thing that we do if you want to call it supplementing, we do give them scratch. And we actually had a company that reached out to us. It's what's the name of the soldier fly larva?
The Grubterra?
Grubterra. So they reached out to us and they sent us a bag that we're going to try. We haven't tried it out yet. Of black soldier fly larva. So I'm thinking that would be a really good one. I wanted to test it out on the old batch of layers when they went into molt, and then we lost the chickens. So we never got a chance to do that because I wanted to see how well that would do because the protein content is much higher than the feed. But that I'm actually looking forward to.
Yeah.
And very high, solid calcium content, very high protein content. It's soldier fly larva. People talk about growing those, but they do a dried soldier fly larva. So we're going to test that out, see how the chickens and the turkeys do with that. My guess is they're going to do pretty good, and we'll do a review on that. So you guys will see how they do.
And we do oyster shells.
Oh, oyster shells. Sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And actually, obviously internal, but external as well. We do put diatomaceous earth in their dust baths. Mm-hmm. So I know that's not technically a supplement, but kind of the same idea. So. All
right, Kylan, perfect answer. That's what I needed to know. Mm-hmm. As for the pigs.
Oh, yeah.
Then Raina, that's awesome. Jesse, I recently expanded my pomegranate collection once I found out that there are better varieties than wonderful. I planted 3 more varieties.
So
which ones?
I'm curious. And I agree. We have was it Barbados? Not Barbados.
Barbados cherry.
The Barbados cherry, that's not it. So, but the Angel Red is really good. So we have the Angel Red. And I can't remember that other one that's got a really, really dark kernel. But you're going to have to let us know what you got and how they taste. So
yeah, if you know, you might not know yet.
Yeah, we use them for wine. They're fantastic as a wine juice.
Everything's fantastic as a wine. Kathleen, much better than ringing. You had to be tough and strong.
Yeah, no, we've never had to do that.
All right, so Tim, ever grow Indian gooseberry or star cherry?
No, have not grown either one of those. So not familiar. I'm vaguely familiar with the gooseberry, but I think, are those both tropicals or semi-tropicals? I can't
I don't know
remember offhand. I want to say they are. So.
And then also thanks for all the content. Awesome. And then we have Jordan. Hey, y'all.
Hey, Jordan.
We have Danny. Hi, Dwayne. Hi, Lori. Greetings from East Lansing, Michigan.
Michigan.
And
Woohoo.
Plentiful Harvest.
Oh,
So,
hey,
okay,
guys.
yeah.
Yep. I'll bet it's getting chilly up there.
Oh, my goodness.
It's getting cold for us here, too. It's like 55 in the mornings for like an hour.
All right, so we have Dan, Muscovy, duck, don't quack, only hiss, no noise, but they can have an attitude, but they are delicious.
I was about to say, that sounds like a perfect option as far as putting them on the plate.
Yeah. All right, Scottsdale Urban Farms, yes, soon. It's probably to come over. And then Jordan, have y'all had problems with ants eating your fruit tree leaves?
Yes, actually. So we had the red leafcutter ants on the old property. We haven't seen that happening here. Mm-mm. We have plenty of other things eating our veggie leaves these days, mainly grasshoppers, but I digress. But we did have some red leafcutter ants on the old property that came off and on. One of the challenges with that, every time we had a hole open up in the ground, so we had their little burrow, they would come out very close to the fruit crops. So we wouldn't use anything. We didn't use any chemicals for those. So what we would do is we would find the mound, so their little hole, and we would pour boiling water down it.
Added vinegar.
Gleefully. With vinegar and peppermint
oil. Yeah.
Yeah, so and that worked pretty good. And then the peppermint oil, we would use that in a spray it around. Like, it happened a lot of times with our blackberries.
A big circle around.
Big circle around. I think that helped to cover the pheromone scent, so they couldn't find it. So we would douse the hole, and then they'd be wandering around, and I don't know what it was. They couldn't find it again. So that seemed to work, be the best option, and all organic. So kind of a pain, but it worked.
It worked.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we are...
One other thing about that is tree tanglefoot. So you can use tree tanglefoot as long as you have a clean, solid, single trunk. So that's why we're big fans of single trunks anyway. But you can use tree tanglefoot. I think we have some of it in our Amazon shop, but you can look it up. The biggest thing with that is wrapping something around the trunk that will expand as the tree grows. And so we were using flagging tape because you can just stretch it. We would put the flagging tape around the tree first, tie that off, and then we would put the tree tanglefoot around that. The only disadvantage to that mainly is it is sticky, but it only lasts a month or two. And if you get a couple of really good dust storms, the tanglefoot loses its tackiness. So, but otherwise, it actually is very effective at keeping the ants from getting up on the trunk, so they don't get into your fruit. If it's a leaf cutter, they're not cutting your leaves. All organic, so you don't have any issues there. So that is an option. It's just, it's time consuming, but it works. It's effective.
Yeah. All right, so we have Tim. I don't know what type mine is. He's talking about the gooseberry and star cherry. Mm-hmm. But it's white and amazing, so easy to care for, very sweet.
Well, that sounds good.
Both tropicals.
Okay.
Star fruit, aka...
Oh, I don't know what Pintanga tuba is either. But I remember seeing star cherry before. Yeah, the challenge for us out here is we hit 20 degrees solid. So everybody in the city is 9B, solid 9B. Cold is 25, 26 degrees. We hit 20 several nights in a row a couple years ago. So we've pretty much abandoned true tropicals. We're keeping a few guavas here just to see how they're going to do and whether or not we can get them through our winters here without supplemental heat. But we would have to do supplemental heat for tropicals, and I'm not willing to do that. So, yeah.
All right. So Juan, how did the citrus trunk do? Has it been chewed on by rodents?
Not at all.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's worked fantastic. I'll tell you what, I was pleasantly surprised with how good that trunk paint. First of all, how well it went on, Smells amazing. And then, yeah, the protection.
Yeah, nothing's bothered it at all.
Nope. And it went on in a single coat, which if you guys have used the traditional latex water base, usually takes a couple coats to get a solid coat on the tree. So it's doing really good. And then we posted a video today on gummosis. We were treating gummosis on one of our plum trees, and we finished that with that IV Organics plant protectant, the 3-in-1, and it's doing really good as well. So had a little bit of sap on one side, but it has not spread and has not any issues of coming back. So it's working really well.
Yeah. All right. And then so for Tim, I see on here that the white was actually referring to his pomegranate.
Oh, okay.
But then last question, he said for him, ever use M products? Bochi? I don't know. Not sure.
Oh, Boogie Brew?
Or Boogie Brew products. Been curious about both.
So no, have not. But if we're looking at doing a foliar feeding process here on the farm, I have some ideas of what I want to do. But that would definitely be one of them. So if we are going to test anything, the Boogie Brew products would be that. The other thing is their filter. Their filter is fantastic. So if you're on city water, assuming they still make it, they do make a chlorine filter. It's very, very good. So, but no, have not used their foliar feeds or any of those other products yet. So.
All right, Scottsdale Urban Farms, we sprayed our ant mound cinnamon water and it worked.
Yeah.
And then I had also someone down here, Raina, said she also had tried cinnamon and it worked well.
Yep.
For the ants.
Yeah, cinnamon would work good. We've used cinnamon to help deter ground squirrels too on leaves.
All right, Tim, that's the white. Kylan, what is your next big project on the farm?
Oh, you know what's funny? Somebody at the end of the processing workshop asked the same question, and I don't think I answered it. So, well, a couple of them are being forced on us. The first one is electric fencing because of the javelina. So that's that. Fencing, we have to finish the east side, the whole side of the property that we share with Nate and Tara. We have to finish that. So we've got fencing to do there. I hate doing fencing. It's just a bummer. But the livestock. So the biggest thing for us is going to be livestock. We are not going to do cattle for the time being, but we have goat, sheep that we want to bring onto the farm in the spring. We're actually going to be partnering with one of our neighbors here in Whitman, and she's going to kind of take us through the ropes on what she does. She also sells mini Nubians and our dwarf Nubians and dwarf Nigerian goats. So we haven't figured out whether we're going to go with a dwarf or a full-size goat. I'm leaning more towards a full-size goat just because we're going to keep the males and use those for meat. But we'll see. That'll be the first thing. Next thing is going to be more flying critters. So we've got to do some expansion, like aviary type expansion. And so we're trying to figure out how we're going to do that. Biggest thing with those two things is infrastructure. So we are having to balance a little more with Lori being here full time as far as cost. And so we're going to have to figure that out and keep the cost down. So we haven't decided exactly what we're going to do there, but we have some ideas. And then the next real big project is probably going to be putting another building on the property, like a small casita or something like that we want to do. We had folks here for the workshop. Actually, it was Kylan, right? So Kylan was here, but he's local. But we had some folks that came up from Tucson. I think it was Tucson was staying in a hotel. So we want to be able to have...
We even had people from Apache Junction that stayed in a hotel too.
Yeah, so we want to have a place where folks can come out and stay with us. It's going to be one of the farm enterprises as well. So kind of a farm stay. If you look at our website, we have a farm stay tab on there. So that's kind of a placeholder for that. But we wanted to do that this year and we held off just because of skyrocketing costs on everything. And so I'm hopeful that a year from now, that's settled down just a little bit, and we'll revisit that one. So,
all right. So we have Tim Mulberries ?
Yes, absolutely.
So I'm not sure. Are you asking if we have mulberries?
They seem to Tolerate once established. Oh, that
I
might
think
be.
that's the
Oh, the tropicals or the semi-tropicals.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and we may do some in the future. It's just not on our list yet. But they sound fantastic. So if they're smaller trees, it may be an option.
Yeah, but mulberries, we do have lots of mulberries.
Several mulberry varieties, and it's hard to go wrong with a mulberry, and it's pretty much anywhere in the United States. If you get up into Alaska, okay, yeah, that might be a challenge with your mulberries. You have to keep them in a pot, but pretty much anywhere in the continuous states and Hawaii, you can do mulberries. The only other exception is full, straight up tropical. Can struggle a little bit sometimes, from what I understand, just because they do technically need some chill hours, but there's some everbearing varieties that do really good in Florida. So,
all right, Kylan, also, what chickens have been the best egg layers for you so far?
White Leghorn and California Gray. That's an easy answer. So those by far are the most productive chickens. They're a little flighty. They're not real personable. They lay a white egg. They lay very consistently. They lay basically year round unless they're molting, and then they still try to lay, it seems to me. They lay a nice big white egg. You can't beat one of those two. So, and a California Gray is California. I can't remember the cross, but it's I think it's a white Leghorn mixed with something else, a California white or something. Either way, so those are both very, very good. As far as browns, you have your golden sex links are good. Rhode Island reds are good. New Hampshire reds are good. Those are all really good brown layers. Production reds, you'll find them that way. Kind of that same group of birds, basically. So for your brown eggs, those are really good. I'd like to say that there's a really good tinted egg layer, but they're not. So at least in our experience. So the Americanas stop laying all winter. For the most part, they'll lay off and on, but they're inconsistent layers. Eggs are cool, but we haven't found them to be very productive. So Lori likes to have them because we sell our eggs, and she wants to have some colored eggs in the dozen every once in a while.
It's neat to have a variety and not just all white or all brown.
I understand.
Okay.
I understand. But yeah, white Leghorns and California Grays are hard to beat. Where's the California Whites?
So Jesse, I love guavas here in Mesa, Arizona. I have 3 and they are doing very well, east and fast growing.
Guavas. Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 2 guava trees here are doing good for now. So we'll see what this winter holds for them. Mm-hmm. So the only thing we're going to do here with the guavas, no matter how cold it gets, is we will cover them when it freezes. If they can't survive that, new trees. So we'll see how they do. But I know that a lot of people in the city, all over the city, have really good success with tropicals. So I'm definitely not downplaying that. If we had the ability to do that, if we were in town, I can guarantee you right now that this girl right here would have her mango tree.
Yes.
Or 4, 5, 10 different.
I would have a whole row of them.
You would have mango trees.
Yeah.
Yes, you would.
All right, so Tim, I used their Boogie Brew Plus filter, and yes, they still make it. I want to try to foliar feed with them too. Yep. And then also he was referring to a good tropical with the mulberries. That might work, but cool, you already have those. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have the Everbearing, the Shangri-La, Persian, the Pakistans, and a white.
Yep. Yeah, I think you got them all.
All right, so we have Daryl. We have several wild growing mulberry trees.
That's cool. Nice. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess nopales are about the only thing that grow wild here that's a fruit, unless you want to consider mesquite pods a fruit. That's a bean. But yeah, that's about it out here. So, it's not a...
All right, Dan, we have our first olive egger. Have a green egg, makes the rest look like Easter. Exactly.
She agrees with you, Dan.
I love that. we got Easter eggers too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got a few in this last batch.
Yeah. Jesse, olive trees, bushes, ?
No, we aren't. We don't have olive trees. I don't plan on doing olive trees. That's not on our list. There's a lot of processing involved with olives. So... and we already do a lot. So, we don't really have that. Dates are kind of the same thing. We use olive oil. Lori doesn't like olives. So, and neither one of us like dates. So that's part of the reason why we don't have them here. Is there a market for that? Maybe, especially dates. I suppose there is, but a portion of what we do here, while the farm is a business, at the same time, it's food for us as well. So if we don't like it, we generally don't grow it or raise it. So that would fall under that category.
Yeah.
And just the amount of processing involved with the olives is not something that we want to take on. I guess we would rather ferment grapes and do all of that processing.
Yeah, we ferment.
Yep.
We do a lot of fermenting.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Scottsdale Urban Farms, you can make flour from the mesquite tree pods.
Yes, we have, actually.
We broke our grinder doing that.
We did break our grinder but it was really good. We made some bread with it.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, nice and sweet.
Yep. Yeah, so mesquite tree, I don't have a problem with mesquite trees. In fact, we're still trying to figure out where we're going to have some desert type trees, adapted trees. We need them in some areas where we're going to have some of the livestock going through, goats, sheep, for example. And those trees grow pretty fast depending on the variety. And of course you get that crop. I'm more interested in that crop though for my pigs. So we actually try to finish our pigs by May. Usually those crops aren't until about June, but we did have one batch of pigs that went into July and they plowed through the mesquite bean pods. They loved them.
Yeah.
So we were actually able to finish that. I think there was either 2 or 3 pigs that year, and they loved those mesquite bean pods. So, but we can get them here all around us. So we can also do some wild harvesting there. So.
All right, Juan, mesquite wood is good for fire.
Yes, it is. And good for smoking, too. Not directly in an actual smoking device for smoking meat or cheese. It's very good for smoking cheese as well.
We did that. Didn't we do the Gouda?
Yeah.
With the mesquite?
It was very good.
That was cheesy.
It was cheesy, but bump. Okay. We'll cut that out of the podcast version.
Jesse, I agree. I don't grow things that require too much processing.
Yeah, it's the mesquite bean pods are so cool, and I guess if we had one of those hammer mills, it would make it a lot easier. I know Greg Peterson does his event where he has the hammer mill that he brings out. But I think I would rather just collect those from the wild, and then any trees that wind up here on the property, obviously we'll collect them there too.
Yeah. All right,
but the pigs do a good job of processing those.
Yeah. MH, I heard mesquite seeds are bad for goats.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So goats are new for us. We're gonna have to learn all of that. So that's good to know, though. Yeah, I know they'll eat the twigs and the branches.
Yeah.
So.
Kylan, what has been the best avenue to sell your products?
It's the email list. So we generally don't. If you guys go to our website, you'll see that we always link people back to that email list. We really want to sell directly to people. So it was kind of like having you out for the workshop. It's the same thing. We'd rather have that personal connection with people that are buying from us. We could sell through the website, obviously, and we may in the future, but it's not really our desire to do that. We would rather keep all of that production a little bit smaller and know the people that we're selling to. And with that email list, I mean, it's still several hundred people long, but a lot of those people we know either through YouTube, friends or friends of friends, and then we get to know them. So that's why we do that. So, and we don't have any intentions of doing mass farming. So like vegetables, for example, a lot of what we do here is veggie farming. It's gardening. So our vegetables are mainly gardening. We'll do some sales with veggies, but the fruit production is kind of the key there. A lot of you guys know us from the fruit production here on the farm, and it's our passion. So, but back to your question, that email list is how we sell basically everything. And then word of mouth. We've had several people that have reached out to us from other people that either know us through YouTube or friends, family, that customer email list. It kind of all goes back to that email list. YouTube is great, but for us, YouTube, you guys know this, we don't sell stuff through YouTube. So YouTube is a creative outlet for me, and it's becoming more so for Lori, but also a way to kind of spread the gospel of what we do here as far as production and the importance of growing your own food. and the fact that we all have the ability to do that on some scale or another. And so we really kind of use YouTube for that. Now, I will be honest, YouTube is also marketing for the business side of it, but it's more indirect. So our direct marketing is the website and the email list.
All right, Sam. Hi, guys. This is Sam from Santan Valley. Do fruit trees still spread roots when they are dormant or only when they wake up?
Yes, they do. So fruit trees, when they go, especially here in Arizona because of the weather. So fruit trees, when they go, if it's a tree that goes dormant, so your pome fruit, your stone fruit, your mulberries, blackberries, things like that, what they do is they basically pull the sap back down into the trunk and down into the roots. And that's the reason why the tree dies during the wintertime. Now, especially for us here in Arizona, you absolutely have solid root growth through the winter. And the reason being is our ground does not freeze. So the ground temperature will fluctuate 10, 20 degrees, maybe 30 degrees. But if you mulch that heavily, that really has a tendency to even that out quite a bit. And you guys know we're big proponents of heavy mulch. That includes wintertime, and it's also the reason why we do not stop irrigating during the wintertime here in Arizona, because you have continued growth. It's one of the reasons our citrus trees stay green and survive in Arizona is that warm winter, and they can stay green, which means that those roots are still alive and happy, the trunks and the branches are as well, which is why those leaves stay green. And also consider this. If you guys have been doing stone fruit and pome fruit here in Arizona, you know that most times trees don't lose their leaves completely. In fact, most winters, you're having to remove those leaves manually because the sap has not come down out of them completely. So the short answer to your question is yes, they will continue to grow. And I don't remember whether we did a video or not on the trees we planted last fall. All of our pome fruit, most of our apples went in last fall. But we pulled wood chips back in the early spring, late winter. We already had root growth that had gone out past the rings during the wintertime. We planted those in October. So yeah, they do grow during the wintertime here.
All right, Dan, always learning from you folks. Mesquite pods for our pigs. Awesome.
Yes, they love them. Love them.
All right, so Danny from Plentiful Harvest, how do you organize your vision and dreams for the Edge of Nowhere farm?
That is a very good question. So it's changing. And because, well, when you guys were here, I don't know if we showed you, I'm sure we talked about the whiteboard that we kept. So we do so many things as far as organization. We have a tree listing, and Excel is my friend. So we have a tree listing there. We track all of our business expense, external business expenses, contacts, and things like that. So we utilize all of those digital resources for keeping those in line. Our tax guy, he loves us and he hates us because basically January 2nd, we're going to call him and say, hey, we're ready for our business taxes, because we just keep track of them daily. So anytime we have something that we can track on a daily basis, we do that. Back to the dreams. So that's where I think right now we're kind of in a holding pattern. And we have been, I think, since Lori stopped working, really since summer. And it's because we completed everything that we had on that initial plan. And now what we're doing is kind of the next steps. So over the next several weeks, we will continue to post content. You guys will still see all that, give you guys updates. But we're really trying to figure out what our next big steps need to be, considering macroeconomics and all these other things. We have a plan for what we think we want to do, but we also are flexible. So I'm not sure if I answered that question all that well, but yeah, Excel spreadsheets, whiteboards, me staying up at night, me getting up way too early in the morning, all those things, it gets stuck up here, and unfortunately Lori has to deal with it.
And the whiteboard, if we didn't go over it with you, we actually, before we moved into this house, we had a huge whiteboard on our wall at the old house, and we would just kind of be plotting everything out. We would change stuff, we would add stuff.
We have a to-do list that's in the garage, and usually we're pretty good at checking that off, and it's been the same now for like probably a good 45 days.
Yeah.
So it hasn't changed.
Haven't gotten anything off there yet.
No.
We have one. Any concerns that the mulch pile might catch fire?
Sure, it could.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a possibility. It's one of the reasons why it's where it's at. So it's back in the middle of the back of the farm. So it's not here near the house. We keep the weeds and debris and things like that away from it, so that we don't have the chance of a spark going into it. But it's dried wood, so it could go up. I don't lay awake at night thinking about it. I try to not go down that road, but the reality is it could. We have dried wood chips down all the orchard rows as well. So the reality is it could, any of those things could catch on fire. All of our orchard rows stay wet, so we water those at least once a week year round. So there is a lot of damp moisture in the soil there. So I'm not quite as concerned there. But yeah, I think at some point in time, the wood chip, we take deliveries from two people in particular that we've come to know really well. And at some point, we're going to have to ask them to hold, because we're to the point now where it's more than we need. So, unfortunately, they're going to have to start taking it to the dump, but it's still a concern. I can't say that it's not. I don't head down that road because it's not worth it for me. I lay awake at night thinking of other things.
All right. MH, do you ever plan on using biochar in your garden beds? I read it's amazing for storing nutrients for the plants when charged. Also a good way to hold moisture in the ground for us desert peeps.
Yeah, and I think it's a fantastic thing. We have not done it. I'm not comfortable making it myself. Back to the last question, actually. So, we don't have a fire pit. We don't even have a charcoal. We don't even have a gas grill outside. So there are no flames that go outside of this building or inside the house. So we would really kind of have to make it ourselves, which I don't want to do. I'm not even sure that we can legally do that. I've heard different things as far as what we can do out here in Whitman when it comes to open flame, but we generally avoid it at all costs. So we would kind of have to do it. We have 174 fruit trees right now. We'll have over 200 fruit trees when it's all said and done. They get big fast. It's going to require a lot. So I think on a smaller scale, absolutely, would it be a benefit? No question whatsoever. But for us, the sheer expense would be just too high. And with the heavy wood chip mulch that we do, the compost that we use for fertilizer, the way we water our fruit trees, all of those things do a very good job of encouraging soil life, and that will continue as time goes on. So we just don't feel the need to add that expense. But yes, I think it would be very good. And we get a lot of questions from folks that don't do this on this scale. Most people don't. The vast majority of people don't. And so I think on a smaller scale where you can really drill down, there are things that you can do that we won't do here. So not that we can't do them, I won't say can't, but that we won't do them. So we make the conscious choice not to do those things because we're trying to save ourselves time and focus on other things, and we get pulled in a lot of different directions. So long answer, I realize, but yes, I think it's good. Yes, if you can do it, I agree you should, and it's a fantastic thing to add.
All right, Kylan, do you plan on breeding your own pigs or will you stick with feeders? If so, what breeds are you most interested in?
So Kuni is the one that we are, if we can get that by next fall, I think that would be good timing. So I'd like to, because I don't want to have them their first summer here. But Kunis are where I'm leaning. I do like American guinea hogs as well. I know there's at least one guy up north that raises American guinea hogs, so I might consider that. I've seen a couple of mixes between the two, between an American guinea hog and a Kuni. Interesting mix to me. But yeah, that would be mainly for ourselves, and we would probably sell a few as well, a few baby piglets, and then keep them for meat production. So right now we take one of the pigs that we raise and we process that pig, butcher that pig for ourselves. So that would change. So we would actually process those pigs here on the farm. Unfortunately, we've had some experience doing that with pigs that we've had to put down for one reason or another. But yes, and Kuni is kind of where I'm headed. So they're a fatty pig. They don't tear up the ground near as much as your traditional heritage breeds do. So that's kind of where I'm headed, I think, more than anything. Smaller pig, easier to control, good fat content, which is important for us. So.
All right. Did your property have water and utilities when you purchased?
No. So we put in the well and we ran the electrical. The electrical was almost at the property line. I'm pointing that way because it would be right behind you guys. But it was about 10 or 15 feet from the property line when we got here. The APS electric was. Excuse me. But there was no water. So we had to drill the well. And next question, if you're curious, I think it was about $35,000 total. Permits, etc., to drill the well, install everything up top, and have water running out of it. So it's gone up since then. That was 2.5 years ago that we had that installed. So I imagine it's gone up quite a bit. But yeah, no, we had to do that.
All right, Sam, what is your watering schedule now that it's getting cooler?
So as I mentioned earlier, so we do continue to water. That doesn't change. What we do, now that we're down into the 80s or so, we water once a week. Right now, we're still putting about 60 gallons on every tree. We'll probably ratchet that down to about 30 gallons each week just to make sure we maintain moisture, have that root growth that we had discussed before so that you have that continued root growth, and we're continuing to build soil around the trees, which is critical. So it just scales back and it's only once a week. If we get rain of any kind, we skip watering for a week because as you guys know, we still maintain a very, very dry environment during the wintertime. Assuming that continues like it typically does, we'll just do it once a week. The grapevines, we just ratcheted back. So those are getting, for 8, 16, 24 gallons in a week spread out over 3 days a week. As soon as I start seeing those leaves change, which is coming up, we'll back that off to once a week and they'll get about 4 gallons. Berries are about the same as the grapevines, although I think most of those are on fruit tree irrigation.
Mulberries.
Some are on emitters. And so those are down to, what do we got? 2, 4, 6, 8, 16. Those are down to about 16 gallons right now. And they'll ratchet back to about 8 to 10 gallons during the wintertime.
All right, Robert, crypto or nay?
Crypto or nah? Yeah, yes. If the answer is do we, the answer is yes. The answer is do we take that as payments? Probably. That's a good question. Yes, I am a crypto guy. So fairly new. It's been about a year. No, not quite a year. So, crypto's part of the deal. I don't think you can do what we're doing here if you're under 60 without looking at that real hard. I'll just leave it at that.
All right, so it is 4:07. We have Juan. Thanks, guys. It's been a fun hour. Daryl, everyone have a great weekend. See y'all next time. Danny, see you later, guys. Thanks for the podcast.
Bye, guys. Yes, and I guess it is time. So you guys, we said it in the beginning, smaller group. I really like the smaller groups because it gives me time to answer questions better, get to know you guys better. We're looking forward to the holidays. I hope you guys are as well. If you guys don't know it already, we do turn this into a podcast that we post onto our website. It is the Desert Farmer Podcast. You can find it on edgeofnowherefarm.com. And we have a kind of a condensed version of what you see here. So, and then you guys know, I like to say this all the time because it's true. Really appreciate you guys spending this time with us. The most expensive thing we have on the planet is time. And you guys choose to spend that with us, and you guys do it all the time, and we are so, so appreciative of that. So you guys have a good Thanksgiving for you guys here in the U.S. I know we got a lot of international viewers as well that'll watch this, but you guys just have a blessed Thanksgiving and fall season. We'll see you guys one more time before the end of this year.
I can't believe this year is already almost done.
I know, it's already almost over. So, but just love you guys. Thanks for being here, and we will see you next time around.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.